This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 4. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking right now at 4. The Florida Department of Health now says a Seminole County man has tested positive for the coronavirus. What health officials are revealing about him. Plus, the Orlando Magic say their players flew on the same plane that transported 2 other NBA players who have the illness. The precautions the team is taking now. And we're waiting for officials from Osceola County, Kissimmee and Saint Cloud to talk about what preparations they're taking for any potential cases. And on top of that, the Reedy Creek Firefighters Union told us today they have 7 firefighter EMTs who work in Disney parks in quarantine right now. I'm Vanessa Eccles.
And I'm Greg Warman. 6 of those firefighter EMTs just returned from a conference in Tampa where someone tested positive, and 1 just returned from Vietnam and South Korea. Also, at any moment, officials from Osceola County, Kissimmee and Saint Cloud expected to talk about their preparations for the coronavirus. Lots to get to. You're in the right place for it. Channel 9's Alexa Lorenzo is live. They're waiting for that news conference to start. Alexa, the county says there are no cases there right now.
And that's the most important part to stress right now, Greg. There are no confirmed cases of COVID-19 right here, right now in Osceola County. But this room we're in is getting filled up with reporters and officials with St. Cloud, as well as Kissimmee and Osceola County are going to take this lectern and address the room full of these reporters to talk about their plan and the emphasis of preparedness as we, of course, are watching what is happening across the state, across the country, across the world in preparation for the outbreak of COVID-19. They plan to talk a lot about what exactly EMS can do when approaching a potential patient that is, of course, worried about maybe having contracted COVID-19. We have not heard a lot from leaders in these cities or counties just yet. This will be the first time they make an open announcement like this for reporters across Central Florida area to discuss and hear their plans in place. We're expecting them to come out into this room in about a couple minutes or so when we are standing by, and we'll let you know what exactly happens when they take over that lectern. Reporting live, Alexa Lorenzo, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Breaking this afternoon, the Florida Department of Health said it received notification of a 68-year-old man in Seminole County who tested positive for coronavirus.
Officials say this is a travel-related case and is associated with a Nile River cruise and tour in Egypt. The announcement came hours after Governor DeSantis talked about other new cases across the state. Now, throughout the next 2.5 hours, you'll hear from our whole team of reporters spread out across Central Florida and in Washington, D.C. They're covering every angle about what local and national leaders, as well as sports leagues, are doing about the coronavirus. And let's begin with Channel 9's Lauren Seabrook, who's been monitoring our state's response. And Lauren, a lot has changed in these last 24 hours.
Really has, Greg. For many, today feels like a whole new way of life, like we have really never seen before. But there is no need for anyone to panic. We're all in this together. The governor is asking everyone to just be patient, and we will get through it. Governor Ron DeSantis says the state is focusing on 5 priorities to keep us safe.
I think taking proactive measures will help us flatten the curve of this. As people get exposed, there's a lag in terms of when they present symptoms.
The first, to protect our elderly population. The state is closing some senior centers as well as daycares across Florida.
This is a time to be restricting access to facilities that house those who are most vulnerable to COVID-19.
Secondly, to increase testing. Because the state is not able to get the number of test kits it originally thought it would, it's now buying 2,500 commercial testing kits that will be here this weekend. The governor says 625,000 people can be tested through those kits, but there's a nationwide shortage in swab and collection materials. Third priority, to increase social distancing. That goes for everyone. The governor is also asking all local leaders
to strongly consider limiting or postponing mass gatherings in the state of Florida.
Fourth priority is to protect healthcare workers. He says the state is working to get more personal protective equipment and to bring in nurses from outside the state. And lastly, monitoring international travel. At least 10 people who tested positive for COVID-19 in Florida took a Nile River cruise in Egypt, which isn't even a level 3 country. The governor also suspended all travel for state employees for 1 month, and he suggested employees not come into the office if they don't have to.
If they can perform functions at home, now's a good time to do that.
And we also just spoke with Seminole County's emergency manager about that newest case of COVID-19 there. I'm putting together a story about how things will be changing a little bit around the county there for Eyewitness News at 5. Greg.
All right, thank you for that update. Health officials in Orange County, meantime, say they've been getting a lot of questions from people who want to know more about the coronavirus outbreak. Officials say they've been getting about 50 calls a day to their COVID-19 call center. The number for the Orange County call center, it's on your screen now, 407-723-5004. It is only meant for Orange County residents and questions. Someone will be there to answer Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
This afternoon, we're getting a better idea of how travel restrictions from Europe into the U.S. can impact flights into Orlando International Airport, which you see right there behind me. Well, last night, the president announced the 30-day ban on flights from most European countries starting tomorrow. Channel 9's Jeff Deal is live at Orlando International right now. And Jeff, this will affect a handful of airlines out there.
It will. We understand it could impact up to 4 airlines here at Orlando International Airport. The only American one is Delta, but airport officials believe 92 flights heading here to Orlando International Airport could be impacted over the next 30 days.
When you look around Orlando International Airport, it's clear coronavirus is on people's minds.
It's scary. It's look at it. There's nobody here.
But at 78 years old, Bob Rohde admits he's not too scared to fly. He's heading out of Orlando to join family in New York. And he's not alone. We've seen plenty of people heading out of town and plenty of others heading here. But following last night's announcement by the president about a so-called travel ban, basically tough restrictions on flights from many European countries into the U.S., we're learning about the potential impact here. Orlando International Airport expects 92 inbound flights could be affected over the next 30 days. The airlines potentially impacted are Delta, Icelandair, Lufthansa, and Norwegian Airlines.
I think that's a good deal. It should have been done a couple weeks ago. I kind of thought that as soon as Italy started going down, we should have done something about them.
Kay Hickman is all for efforts to stop the spread of COVID-19. She's armed herself.
Gloves. And then I got, these are 95 masks.
But like others here, she isn't going to let fear of coronavirus stop her from getting on the next flight.
And this affects mostly foreign nationals who have visited many of the European countries over the past 2 weeks. U.S. citizens and their families, though, who have been screened may still be allowed to enter. That's something, obviously, we'll be keeping a close eye on here at the airport over the next several weeks. We're now reporting live at Orlando International Airport. Jeff Deal, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And we are following some breaking national news. The Dow Jones just closed down more than 2,300 points as part of another major drop on Wall Street. This came after President Trump imposed a travel ban and offered few new measures last night to contain the economic impact of coronavirus.
And as ABC's Ines de la Cuetara reports, the president may have come into contact with a man who tested positive for the illness, but the president says he's not worried.
Even as President Trump tries to reassure the nation,
I think it's going to work out very well for everybody.
The COVID-19 pandemic inching closer to the White House. A Brazilian official who met with Trump and the vice president, seen here on the right in this photo from last week, now testing positive for the virus.
We'll find out what happens. I guess they're being tested right now. Let's put it this way, I'm not concerned.
But amid growing public anxiety, Trump announcing drastic new measures to fight the outbreak, calling for a series of stimulus measures to help the economy. Today, trading was halted for the second time this week as financial markets continue to tumble.
The president used the biggest weapon that a president has, that primetime Oval Office speech last night, to try to calm the markets. It does not appear to have worked.
Trump also banning travel from most of Europe to the U.S. for the next 30 days. The U.S. citizens and permanent residents will not be affected. That announcement causing confusion. The European Union responding overnight, slamming the measure as a unilateral decision taken without consultation.
We had to make a decision, and I didn't want to take time, and you know, it takes a long time to make the individual call.
While Congress scrambles to pass a new COVID-19 relief bill, next week's Senate recess now canceled.
Right now, we have to find our common ground, work together to get this done as soon as possible.
And former Vice President Joe Biden releasing his own plan to deal with the outbreak.
And it's critical to mounting an effective national response that will save lives, protect our frontline health workers, slow the spread of the virus, Anyone who needs to be tested based on medical guidance should be tested at no charge.
Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
And the pandemic is also bringing some major changes to the 2020 campaign. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders will still face off Sunday for the first one-on-one debate of the primary season, but that debate will now be held in Washington instead of Arizona, and there will be no live audience to watch. This afternoon, U.S. Senator Rick Scott of Florida announced that he's decided to self-quarantine after he came in contact with someone who has coronavirus. Monday, Scott met with a delegation from Brazil in Miami, and he says he found out today that one of those people has tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement, Scott wrote that he is feeling healthy and not experiencing any symptoms, and that he will still be working on plans to combat the coronavirus.
Communities in New York and Washington are really feeling the effects of the outbreak today. In parts of Washington state, there's a sweeping ban on all events with more than 250 people, and Seattle, Washington has closed all of its public schools. In New York, gatherings of 500 people or more are also banned, and Broadway theaters are suspending performances for the next month. And last night, the NBA suspended all games indefinitely after a Utah Jazz player tested positive for coronavirus. Since then, another Jazz player has tested positive today, and many other professional sports leagues are suspending and canceling games. Channel 9 sports anchor Christian Brewy joins us in studio now. And Christian, we aren't going to have any sporting events in Orlando for quite some time.
No, Greg, Major League Soccer announced today they are suspending games for 30 days. So Orlando City, who was scheduled to play at Exploria Stadium this weekend, will have at least 4 games impacted. And for the Magic, it's currently wait and see.
Make no mistake about it, this situation is so much bigger than basketball.
The NBA was the first league to act, and they acted swiftly. Shortly after it was announced Jazz center Rudy Gobert tested positive for the coronavirus, the NBA decided to suspend all games indefinitely.
We will continue on an hourly basis to monitor this public health crisis. We will get our guidance from the league as to how we proceed forward, both in the short term and the long term.
Martins had to make a few extra calls after the team arrived home from their win in Memphis. That's because on Tuesday, the Magic used the same Delta plane that was used to transport Gobert and the Jazz to Oklahoma City.
All of the physicians, independent of one another, that we consulted with last night have confirmed that using the same plane as the Utah Jazz does not qualify as exposure, and therefore further precautionary measures such as quarantine or testing are not necessary.
Martins added that no Magic players or coaches have presented any symptoms of COVID-19. The players had a meeting at the Amway Center early this morning and hope to have some idea of when they can return to practice by the end of the day. Now, in the interest of public safety, Alex Martins also announced today the Magic's biggest fundraiser of the year that was scheduled for this weekend has been postponed. It regularly generates hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Orlando Magic Youth Foundation. Greg?
All right, Christian, in addition to the NBA and Major League Soccer, the NHL has paused its season as well, and Major League Baseball is suspending the rest of spring training and pushing opening day back at least 2 weeks. Meanwhile, in college basketball, 13 conference tournaments were canceled today, including the AAC tourney, where the University of Central Florida was scheduled to play today at 1 o'clock. We'll have much more on this throughout the rest of this newscast as well. And if you have more questions about the coronavirus, remember, you can call the Florida Department of Health. The number is important to write down. That way, if you have a question that's pressing, pick up the number, pick up the phone and call this number 24 hours a day. It's 1-866-779-6121. Again, center is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So many questions. This is allergy season. If I have the sniffles, do I have coronavirus?
Big issue.
They will be able to answer all of those questions. Our website also is a great resource as well.
And download the app because we have up to the minute information on there too.